So frustrated and just for them not to compensate you enough money for you to live your life and pay your bills.
Every single person I know is directly, visibly affected.
Once I pay them bills, I buy them groceries, I fill my tank, and I have money left over.
Of money and salaries have not kept up to the rising cost.
Bought a house in Texas, and immediately I couldn't afford it.
They fixed absolutely nothing. All they did was print trillions of dollars.
American biggest financial disaster may be hiding in right plain sight. Millions of people are working, paying bills, and quietly falling behind. How did we get here, America, where people have to work 2-3 jobs just to sustain their life? If you are new on this channel, do me a favor, smash the subscribe button and hype me up, hype me up, hype me up. All right, let's check out this video.
I have 3 jobs and I'm still struggling. I am a teacher. I tutor after school. I just got through with one of my tutoring sessions actually, and I also make content. I have 1 full-time job with full benefits and then 2 part-time/contract jobs, and I am still struggling. The solution is not to get a 4th job. There's something wrong with this world. Something has got to give to where we live in a world where people can work multiple jobs and they're still struggling. What does that say? Like, the solution isn't you need another job or you're just lazy and you don't want to work. We're working multiple jobs. What more do we have to do in order to live comfortably in this world? I think it's ridiculous.
I'm so frustrated and just confused. Like, oh, this coffee shop is draining the life out of me. Nobody tells you about doing your own business, starting your own business. Like, it's so fucking hard. It's so hard. Oh my gosh, I had the biggest cafe crash out. I'm not gonna be able to open the coffee shop doors because it's so expensive and I need to make money. So
I felt a little bit good about the fact that it hadn't opened because I'm so terribly afraid to open. Right now, it very much feels like I'm doing this alone.
Like a fever, like I'm burning alive, like the sign. Did I cross the line?
I am extremely stressed out. I don't come on here and cry and do all of that. But what the fuck? I work 5 to 6 days out of the week and I only barely have enough money to pay my bills. Somebody's gonna get on here and say, oh, well, be lucky you have a job, bro. Working a job, going to a job, getting up every morning, every night, whatever time you go, and having to give your all or do your best at this fucking job just for them not to compensate you enough money for you to live your life and pay your bills, it's actually really fucking setting me. I feel like I'm missing out on living life because I have to pay my bills and go to work every fucking day. Such a tiring process. I could see if I was lazy, I wasn't getting up and I wasn't getting it, but it's like, bruh, how fucking hard do I have to work in order to fucking survive, bro? How? Once I pay my rent and my phone bill and my light bill, that's it. And then the next paycheck, because mind you, bi-weekly, you only get paid 2 times out of the month. So one paycheck goes directly towards bills. And then that other paycheck, I have to set bills. I have to set money aside for the next set of bills that are coming up. I can't get ahead. I can't. I know somebody's going to say, you've got it better than somebody else. Bro, that's not the fucking point. Just because I have it better than somebody else doesn't mean that I'm not fucking struggling over here. For real, for real. People try to come on here and try to perpetrate and make it seem like, oh yeah, I'm living this kind of life. I'm living that kind of life. Bitch, I'm a TikTok content creator, but I live a life just like y'all. And nobody better get on here and say you better get another job or do this or do that. Bitch, you think I haven't applied to these jobs? And when I apply to these jobs, they waste my fucking time. Do you think I have money and gas and energy to be wasting going back and forth to these job interviews who are not going to hire me and are going to tell me that they're going to call me in a week or going to call me back in a couple days and don't? Job market is a joke. I have no choice but to keep the job I have now. The one that's barely paying my fucking bills. It leaves me no money left over to live, to get my nails done. These are fucking press-ons. I can't do anything. I gotta do my own hair. I gotta do my own toes. I gotta do everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like when you don't have a choice and you work every fucking day, it gets tiring. It gets to a fucking point, bro.
The craziest part about the American economy right now is like usually when you see these headlines talking about the economy or headlines about whatever going on in the world, it's like you see it, but you don't see it in real life. You know what's happening. Maybe you see like tiny effects of it or whatever. When it comes to the economy right now, every single person I know is directly, visibly affected by this shit. Lack of jobs, how much it costs to live increasing, all that other stuff. I am directly seeing and am personally affected. People I see on a daily, weekly basis. And I feel like that speaks to how fucking bad the state of the economy is. Like we're not in a recession. This has to be a Great Depression. And I don't know how people are surviving. Maybe it's credit card debt, maybe it's whatever. But then the funny part of it is when you see these headlines historically, and then maybe you don't necessarily directly see it, we are not hearing anything about this. And all the actual effects that this is having on society, people not going out, people not drinking, not going to clubs, not going to concerts, they attribute it to everything except the fact that everybody's fucking broke. And so, I don't know. I dead ass don't know what's gonna happen in like the next coming years.
One of the problems that I'm dealing with in my life right now is the fact that I make the money. I really do make the money. But by the way that I spend the money, you would think that I ain't got no money. I try to be a responsible adult. I pay my bills. My bills is paid. But for some reason, it's like something in my mind. Once I pay them bills, I buy them groceries, I fill my tank, and I have money left over. Oh, I'm finna blow it. I'm finna blow it. I'm cheap about the wrong stuff because I will need a new pair of shoes and I will debate getting a new pair of shoes for weeks on end. But I'll run to brunch and spend $80 just cuz. I'll run to the casino and blow $200 like nobody's business. But then, do I really need this new pair of shoes? Yes, bitch, you do. Buy the shoes. Stop playing.
I bought a house in Texas and immediately I couldn't afford it. The bills were piling up, new bills that I never had to pay before. And I was thinking to myself, how am I going to do this? I got a second job. Life was stressful. I was scrolling on social media. I seen some things about Bali, Thailand. I asked some friends that I knew had traveled quite a bit. I said, hey, what do you think about Bali? What do you think about Thailand? They said, oh, you would love it. I said, yeah, I think so too. Did a little bit more research, instantly got a property manager, put my stuff up for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and boom, within 4 months, I was out of there. And once I did it, I realized life can be simple. Life can be easier. And it was. My mental health is in a better place. And now I'm thinking to myself, I should have done this a long time ago. Most people don't want to give up what they have or what they've built because they think they're losing. But in reality, you're actually winning.
A lot of people are talking about like the housing market right now, especially here in Texas. What I think keeps getting missing from that conversation is if you think, yes, it is really difficult for any first time homeowner to be able to afford a home, to purchase a home. I think a lot also gets lost in the sauce of us talking about how much it takes to maintain said home. Because that is the part of home ownership that also adds to its unaffordability right now. We're not talking, and this is the reason why we can't have, like, we don't have these really inclusive conversations that connects all the dots to the systems. So we're always just trying to go after a symptom, not as what the overall system is showing you that's a problem. I got my home back in 2014. At that time, the market was really going up here in the area of the Hill Country, Texas area. Like we lived in South Austin. Like I lived in South Austin for most of my like 17 years being out here. And then like the market was so fierce that we kind of got priced out of being able to live and get a home in South Austin. A lot of people had to go north. You had to go further north in Austin, up towards, Round Rock, Pflugerville, Georgetown, Hutto, in order for you to be able to have some affordable housing. And that was back in like 2014, 2015. Like I said, getting the house, we were able to get the house. That's what people don't always prepare you for. And it's different for everybody, but every home requires maintenance. So I'm always thinking like, okay, so what if they do make some changes that makes purchasing a home affordable? Does that still solve the problem, or is it just solving one of the symptoms? Because the issue is we aren't making enough money. Because honestly, let's say that you do have the money for you to put down on a first home and for you to pay your mortgage for like a year. Okay, that's good. That's a good setup. You got that much money. You're able to do that. You're able to make the payments. But then something catastrophic happens. One of your major appliances go out. I had a year where my fridge, my dryer, and my washing machine went kaput. I mean, what are you going to do? You got to replace that. That costs money. I've been in my home plus 10 years. I need to get my roof repaired. In fact, after all this storm and hail damages, I need a new roof. That costs money. Several months ago, my water heater, I stepped out in my garage and my water heater was leaking. It went kaput. There goes $2,500 right there. So that's another part of the conversation that I want people to start thinking about when we're talking about the housing market and the housing crisis. Like, it's not just being able to afford getting a home. It's, are we also able to not just purchase that home, but be able to live, thrive, and maintain that home? And the answer is a giant resounding no, because the job market is like frayed. So many people have been laid off. The amount of money and salaries have not kept up to the rising cost of everything.
It's truly astounding to see how many people are finally realizing that the economy is crumbling. I've worked in a number of industries over the last few years that show great indicators of the economy going down. The railroad being one of them. And I was making great money with the railroad a number of years ago, and then the shoe dropped. And what people don't realize is back in 2008, during that financial crash, they fixed absolutely nothing. All they did was print trillions of dollars. So you don't realize when they do that, all that is doing is pushing the pain off to a later date. You didn't fix anything. You didn't fix the broken bones. You didn't fix the contusions. You didn't fix the bleeding. None of it. You just pushed it off to a later date, and you just put that body on life support. And at a certain point, it's going to crumble, and it's going to be even worse than it would have been if you just would have suffered a pain. That's not what they wanted to do. They wanted to push this off as far as possible until they got into a new economic system. Now they have data centers in place, they have 5G in place, they have all of the necessary infrastructure where they can switch into a new monetary system, and that's what they're going to do. What people don't realize is that it won't be one for one. So today you might have $1, tomorrow you might have 50 cents. You might have a quarter. It's not going to be one for one because of the amount of debt that's out there. It's upwards to $250 trillion worth of unfunded liabilities. That's why they're like, yeah, we're not paying you Social Security. They're paying for Medicare, Medicaid, all of these other benefits. They do not have the money. So that's why things are bad, and that's why they're going to continue to get worse until they flip over the new system. It's still going to be bad then. That's why there's a great divide between the rich and poor. Every single year, every single 4 years, it's like, yeah, we're going to vote our way out of this. It doesn't matter what side gets in, left or right, it's still the same results. That top 1% is getting wealthier and the bottom 99% is getting poorer. The system is meant to be this way. They're not going to do anything to fix it for your benefit. It would behoove you if you start educating yourself on monetary policy, on economics. This is a fractional reserve system, meaning there's nothing backing it up. Back in 1971, they got off the gold standard. There's nothing backing this up besides the military. Oil's no longer backing this up either. So there's going to be a lot of pain to come because they don't need as many people. This is their words. They do not need as many people. People are like, well, if they get rid of all the jobs, who are going to buy these goods? They're not going to have that many goods to go around for the vast majority of us. They placated everybody with these cheap goods and all of these trinkets on purpose. The pain is coming. You better prepare now while you can. Life sucks for a lot of people. It's not sunshine and rainbows for me either. I just recently took a new job where I was telling myself I really don't want to do this, but I need to do this. It went from that to I want to do this because I'm flipping that switch in my head to force myself to do that because it's going to get me into a better position that I need to be. If you're working all day long, 12, 13, 14, 15 hours, two jobs, full-time, part-time, double full-time, be glad that you can do that right now because at a certain point, very shortly, you will not be able to do that. It's just straight economics. It will not be possible. So enjoy it while you can because, yeah, things are about to change and change real soon. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm not saying this to. I'm just letting you know. Back in 2008, they warned that they can tax everybody's wages at 100%, and they still would not be able to service the interest on the debt. What does that tell you? The interest alone is killing the debt. Anyone who has credit cards or a mortgage or student loans realize paying the bare minimum will never get you anywhere. The bare minimum won't get you anywhere. So, yeah, it sucks now, but you're gonna wish for this suck in the near future, because this is gonna get suckier.